Aloha and what's up, everyone? It's me, your host, Drew Manning of the Fit2Fat2Fit Experience Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Today's a solo cast, so it's just going to be me and you in this episode. I'm going to be talking about, I recently did my first ever conscious fitness retreat here on the Big Island of Hawaii, which is where I live. And I just want to do a quick recap of how it went and talk about all the things that we learned, because this week was such a powerful week for me, for these participants that came from all over the world to experience 5 days with me and my team of coaches. And it was life-changing. And I just felt like I needed to get on here and kind of share the experience with you all so you guys can get a glimpse into what really went on and why conscious fitness, I feel, is so powerful for so many people that struggle with health and fitness, and just everything we were able to accomplish this past week, which was amazing. So I figured I'd do it right. Pretty fresh after the retreat. I've had a few days to kind of settle in and get back to normal life, because the life that we were experiencing was kind of elevated, if you will, meaning everyone was on cloud nine. Every day was a new adventure. Everything we did was, mesmerizing. And so I really want to dive into what people learned and what they took away from this and share it with you guys a little bit. So yeah, before we jump in, our shout out to our show sponsor, Paloova. Paloova is a shoe company created by Mark Sisson, who's the grandfather of the paleo movement. You might have heard of him. I've had him on the podcast a couple times now. And the reason I have Paloova as a sponsor of the show is because I recently started using these zero drop minimalist shoes with these distinctive 5-toe design, which is very unique. And I'm a huge fan of them because not only do I use them for rucking, but walking around the house, it kind of gives you like the most authentic barefoot style experience, but with sufficient cushioning to use for, all manner of everyday movement, from fitness and athletic activities. Plus, they're, probably the most stylish minimalist shoes you'll find on the market. They're a step ahead of every other, zero drop wide box shoe because of the critical feature of the individual 5-toe articulation, which it basically is the separate slot for each of your toes, and allows for correct dynamic movement of the foot through the walking or running stride, which is impossible when toes are encased into a single box. And so that's kind of the magic of these shoes, and I've been using them for a while now, especially with my rucking or my light jogs. They are a game changer. Plus, I'll wear them around the house just because they're that comfortable. And so I'm a huge fan of them. If you're interested in learning more or you want to check them out, go to Paloova, Peluva.com, and you can use my code DREW for 15% off. That's DREW, Peluva.com/Drew, or use my code DREW for 15% off your order. Check them out. I think you'll be a huge fan of them by the end of this. And just want to go show them some love if you want to check them out. If you're interested in these types of shoes for better movement moving forward, I'm a huge believer in what Mark is trying to accomplish with these shoes. So thank you to Paloova. And now let's go talk about my first ever conscious fitness retreat. Okay, so we had 13 people show up to the first one, and we stayed in an amazing Airbnb here in Kailua Kona, which is where I live on the Big Island of Hawaii. And I've been talking about doing a fitness retreat for years, you guys. I have been thinking about it for a long time, but I never pulled the trigger on it because many of you might know, I'm not sure if a lot of you know this, but I've had a transition with my business about a couple of years ago where I had to take over as the CEO. Had to let go of all my employees, which was very sad and kind of hard, to be honest with you, because I'm not a CEO. I'm more of the face of the company, and I've never had to step into the role. And so what the reason it was a challenge for me was because I'm used to having a team of people help me, implement ideas that I have. And one of my ideas was to do a retreat, but I was like, there's no way I could do this by myself. And after having just hosted a retreat, I realized how much help was needed, and there's no way I could have done everything, like from someone losing their luggage and having another coach help me by taking them to the airport or taking them to Target to pick up some supplies while they waited for their luggage. Someone went to the ER. It's a separate issue. I'll talk about that. Nothing necessarily to do with the stuff we did, but just something, health issues that they're experiencing. They're fine, by the way, but just little things like that where someone had to step up, take them to the ER or like run errands for people or pick things up for them that they might have left or stuff like that. And then logistics of, taking care of all the people, cooking all the food. There's no way I could have done it without the help. So first of all, shout out to, my coaches, Casey, Tom, Mo, Brosette, and Kurt, his wife, Kirsten, for stepping up and coming out here, helping me with this retreat. These are experienced coaches that do retreats and I couldn't have picked a better team of coaches, especially Casey, who she's helped me a ton with implementing this idea. And actually, she's the reason that I pulled the trigger on this, was because she essentially in the beginning hired me to speak at her retreats. And so that's coming up in, September, October, November of this year. And I kind of mentioned to her about this idea that I had of this conscious fitness retreat, which is, conscious fitness is something I've been kind of, you see my videos now. I've been talking about this for a while, and I wanted to create an experience where people could come here and experience what conscious fitness is all about. And she truly believed in my mission of what I was trying to accomplish. And so I let her help me. And I know it sounds funny to say, but I struggle asking for help. I struggle letting people help me. I think I've been a single dad for so long that I'm just used to doing things by myself. And I'm like, I'll do it by myself. I can do this. I can handle this. And luckily I have good health and I'm able to accomplish the things that you know, for the most part, most of the things that I want to do. But I have to admit that I can't do it all by myself. And doing a retreat on top of being a single dad and running my business and trying to keep the house in order and, laundry, cleaning, groceries, all that stuff, like I need help. And I'm not going to lie. It was a huge blessing to have someone like Casey step in and be like, I got you, I'll help out with this. I know how to run retreats. And she helped me on the back end. And so that's, I think, one of the reasons why I was so successful. And I'm super, super grateful, to be totally honest with you. So, and then shout out to our private chef, Beth. She's amazing. At Community Eats is her Instagram. If you're ever here on the Big Island, you need a private chef. She's cooked for celebrities. She's cooked for TV shows. She was amazing. And I think that's I think by far one of the favorite things that people experienced was how amazing the food was. And if you follow me on Instagram, you saw pictures and videos of how amazing the food was. And then our videographer, Christian, she was there every single day, early, late, got tons of amazing footage, photos, videos, all the things. She was both the photographer and the videographer, which is a really hard job to do. Plus all the editing and, the videos that she's creating. There's a whole lot that goes into it. So I couldn't have done it without the help of these people. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you to the participants who showed up, 13 people from all over the world. We had a couple people from Canada, New Jersey. We had a couple 60-year-olds that came. Shout out to you guys, Laverne, Vilma. I know it wasn't easy, some of the things we did. Now, the whole idea of conscious fitness, what is that in a nutshell? Let me try and explain that to you. Conscious fitness is my new age approach at health and fitness that kind of tackles the mental and emotional side first and foremost before we even get into the physical side of transformation, which is the stuff that you see in the fitness industry: diet, exercise, supplements, work harder, macros, calories, like all that stuff that we know we need to do to physically transform our bodies, right? The thing that people struggle with, in my opinion, is more so on the mental and emotional side. And I think it stems from, deeper psychological issues like a lack of self-worth or lack of self-love or not feeling good enough or not feeling worthy to have good physical health. And then we keep self-sabotaging or emotional eating, or there's addictions to food or, patterns or behaviors that hold us back from, staying consistent with living a healthy lifestyle. And conscious fitness is my approach at overcoming those obstacles. And it starts with the empathy first approach, building self-awareness, which leads to self-respect and self-love. And I believe once you start loving yourself and you believe that you're worthy, you start respecting yourself, you start showing up for yourself differently. You stop looking at exercise and diet as a chore or punishment that you have to do, but you look at it as an act of self-love. Like, I feel worthy enough to have good physical health. Therefore, I'm going to start showing up for myself today. I'm going to start eating healthy food. I'm going to move my body in a way that feels good to me instead of looking at exercise as a form of punishment. That's what conscious fitness is in a nutshell. So I want to give people that experience, but here on the island of Hawaii, which is magical. It's very healing. One of my favorite places on earth. And I think providing this experience for people has been my dream for a long period of time. And so people were able to come here, get uncomfortable, but get comfortable in uncomfortable situations is what we kind of helped people with, to rewire their neural pathways, to look at transformation from a whole new perspective. And I think one of the most powerful things we did was our breathwork sessions. And as many of you know, I'm a certified somatic breathwork practitioner. I got certified through Somatic Breathwork. Highly, highly recommend them. Those modalities of teaching people breathwork, I think, were truly transformative for the people that came here that have never experienced breathwork before. their minds were blown. They didn't know what to expect. And I think a lot of them opened up after, or they were cracked open after that first breathwork experience, which we did on the second day that we were here. And I think that was a really powerful experience for people, because breathwork is one of those things that helps to break down people's walls. It kind of dissolves the ego temporarily, puts you into an altered state where it allows, maybe pent up emotions that have been suppressed and pushed down or ignored for years or decades. It allows those emotions to come up and be released and or felt first and then released. And that's the beauty of breathwork. It is a very powerful healing modality. And I think once people, one, felt safe enough to let go of control and surrender to the experience, were they able to open up and really talk about what they struggle with. And that leads to the V word, vulnerability. And that's the thing that leads to deeper connections. So all these people that came here, 13 strangers, didn't know each other than the Facebook groups that we've had or the Zoom calls that we've had leading up to this. They were complete strangers, and they came here, and by the end they were best friends, and they opened up because they embraced vulnerability as a strength, which leads to deeper connections. And when you have deeper connections, deeper relationships, life is more meaningful, life is more fulfilling, and you can actually have real conversations about the past traumas you've been through, the past experiences you've had. And the more you talk about those things that have brought you shame, the less power shame has over you. And that's really the atmosphere and the environment that we created here during the Conscious Fitness Retreat. And it started with breath work. And then from there, we were able to open up and have these deep conversations where people were able to build these bonds. And I think that's the most amazing thing that I saw was these 13 people. There was no cliques. There was no like separate groups or anything like that, even though some people knew each other. There was a pair of sisters. There was, 3 friends that knew each other. But other than that, people came here as strangers. And it was so beautiful to see these people come together. And it was very surprising and very fulfilling for me, because I love helping people feel safe. And I feel like when people feel safe, it's medicine to their soul. Their defenses come down. They don't feel like they're being judged. And that requires empathy, deep empathy for people, and listening to understand them instead of listening to judge them. And that's kind of what this conscious fitness retreat is all about. So whether we're doing breath work, or we're taking them on a hike, or we're going to swim with the manta rays, or play at the beach, or do some workouts, or whatever it is that we're doing on the retreat, it's all about those deeper relationships, which I think when it comes to health and fitness and nutrition and all the physical side of transformation makes that stuff so much easier and more manageable once you take care of the deep-seated emotional stuff that holds you back, those patterns, those behaviors of self-sabotage and not feeling worthy and not feeling good enough that stem from childhood most likely. I think that's where people struggle the most with their transformations, is their ability to stay consistent, because they try and just willpower their way out of these old patterns of behaviors, when in reality, it takes a complete rewiring of the brain, of those neural pathways, to seek new paths to deal with stresses or triggers of life, instead of just doing the same thing over and over again, when that's built into our subconscious programming. Because of that's, we've been indoctrinated, we've been programmed, domesticated, if you will, for years and decades by our families, our parents, our coaches, our friends, our movies, TV shows, books, music we listen to, friends, religious leaders, all the things. Kind of a culmination of that creates how we react to pain, how we react to stress or overwhelm. And when we can learn to overcome those and realize that those patterns or behaviors can be learned, but they can also be unlearned, then there's a light at the end of the tunnel where people can be like, oh, this is how you transform. This is how you change, by showing up as a different version of myself, letting the old version of you die and be reborn, in a sense, where now the way you talk to yourself, the way you look at your body, the way you look at food, the way you treat others, the way you show up for yourself, the way you have integrity completely changes once you start to believe that you're worthy and you're lovable as you are. And that's really kind of the environment that I was trying to create during conscious fitness. And it was a really cool, fulfilling experience. I'm just going to say that. Yes, I'm biased, but if you go and follow the people that, I post about on Instagram of who have come here, you will see their testimonials. You will see their stories of what they experienced here. And we're doing another one in October. So this is just the first one. There was 13 people that showed up. I think October, there's 5 spots left for that one. We're going to have 18 people for that one, just because there's at the Airbnb we're staying at, there's a lot more room than we initially thought. So all in all, you guys, I would love to do retreats like all the time now. And that's just me being honest with you guys. I love everything else I do, but this leads to deep, true, authentic connections with people. And on social media, you just can't get that. Like I can't get that deep connection with the social media post and someone commenting and me like liking their comment or responding back, or even if you DM me, it's not the same. When you're out here in person, you get to feel these experiences and feel the transformation happening inside of you. It's completely different. And so if you're interested, I'll put a link in the show notes of this episode of where to apply, because there's an application process, and then you got to jump on a call with me to see if it's a good fit. And of course, it costs money. Like these kinds of experiences, from Airbnb to the rental cars, to the private chef, to the videographer, to the excursions, to gas and food and groceries and all that stuff. Like there's a lot of expenses that go into it. So of course I would love to offer it for free, but it's one of those things where it's a paid experience, and I think it's well worth the money if you're interested in experiencing this. So the October 14th through 19th are the dates of the next one. Like I said, there's 5 spots available, and then the next one will be February of 2025. So I plan on doing 2 of these a year. So there's 2 opportunities to come out and experience this, and there's different levels to it. So obviously, when you come here for the first time, for example, this group that just came in, they're already talking about coming back a year from now to do a 2.0, where it's like a reunion, like a 1-year version of, okay, where are we now? How far can we get in a year with our physical transformation, our mental, emotional transformation, our spiritual transformation, all those things. That's kind of the goal, is to provide multiple opportunities for people to come, experience this new concept of conscious fitness. And whether it's through the retreats or my challenges that I do or the content that I put out there, I'm going to really try to create these conscious fitness opportunities for people to learn this different approach to health and fitness. And I think it's something that works for a lot of people, because it's not just your typical rah calorie deficit, willpower your way through it, get the body, and then boom, you're done. Because we all know that doesn't solve the problems. But anyways, just grateful for everyone that came, for everyone that helped out, and for you guys listening that might be interested in this. Like, feel free to reach out, ask questions. We're going to be updating the website soon, so you can hear the testimonials from the other people that experience this. The dates will be updated on the new landing page, with more details about the one coming up in February. And then after that, it'll probably be sometime in the summer, like September or October again, for the next one. And I can't wait. And I hope you guys can make it. I hope it would be awesome if everyone could experience this. And I'm working on ways for that to happen. I think for everyone to come out here to Hawaii would be awesome, but can't always control that. So anyways, the Conscious Fitness Retreat, more to come. Thank you guys. This is a short little episode. Just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for those who have believed in me. This transition from Fit to Fat to Fit into conscious fitness is something I feel called to. I love helping people, with weight loss, but that's not the legacy I want to leave when I leave this world. It's like, oh yeah, Drew was a good fitness trainer. He helped me lose weight. My hope or my goal in life is, if I can make people feel a little bit less broken on their journeys, that for me probably is the legacy I want to leave behind, is trying to make people feel safe, make them feel seen, heard, and understood. And I feel like that's medicine that this world needs, that every one of us needs. And maybe we weren't provided that safe space as kids, but we can provide that for ourselves now. And there's tools and techniques that we can learn to provide that space for us, and then we pay it forward once we're able to provide that for ourselves by providing that for other people. So sending you guys all the love and aloha, and I hope you guys come experience the Conscious Fitness Retreat. Although, also really quick, I don't know when you're going to listen to this, but on Monday, August 12th, after this episode airs, or maybe if we can get up there before, I'm doing a 30-day challenge, which starts Monday, August 12th. I kind of use some of the conscious fitness techniques implemented into this 30-day challenge. So yes, there's going to be daily workouts. Yes, there's going to be daily nutritional macronutrients that people need to hit. There'll be a checklist of things on the physical side, but also incorporating some of the conscious fitness mindset challenges that can help you on the mental and emotional side as well. So I'm excited to dive into that starting Monday, August 12th. and anyone can join for that, right? Super simple to join. I'll post a link in the show notes for that. And just want to say much love and aloha and respect to you, your family, your loved ones. Keep showing up for yourself and stay in touch. I'll be in touch very soon with more episodes, which hopefully provide a lot of value for you guys on your journeys, talking about all the things. And so thank you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.